Well, hello there, people. I'm doing a shit ton of reaction videos because people keep sending me these videos. Chris Tides Tech, Microsoft is destroying Windows. But let's see what he's up to here with his little... by the way, we're the same age.
Why do you hate me? Why do you want me to use another operating system?
They don't.
I really want to know, Windows. Anywho, I think we need to talk about Windows again, because it just continues to piss me off on a daily basis. I really just want to use it. I would love to never touch Mac OS or Linux and just use this operating system. I know it. I've used it for over 2 decades. I have 11 different professional certifications from Microsoft to use this thing. I know it for...
I'm an MCP, by the way. You don't need certifications to know what the fuck you're talking about. Certifications is opening a door for a job. That's what they do. But yeah.
Words and backwards, and it just continues to piss me the ever-living F off. Microsoft.
So what is pissing you off?
Why do you destroy Windows? All right, sorry. Lost my shit for a second there. We need to talk about...
His audio is awful. What, like... He used to have really great audio.
About the latest 22H2 update, because this is the stuff that makes me hate Windows. This makes me say, I'd rather be in Mac. And most people know I really don't like Apple. So, with Microsoft, let's take a peek here at just their settings, right?
I'm thinking here, Microsoft is destroying Windows. So that means that they're doing something that make Windows function worse. So CPU is getting, performance is getting worse, battery life is getting worse, the stability is getting worse, the security is getting worse. You know, that's kind of what I would say, okay, you're destroying Windows, or stuff not working on the Windows anymore. That would be destroying it.
The Windows 11 aesthetic, by the way, I kind of like Windows 11 aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of nice. And when you go into the settings menu, it looks pretty good. I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's good, but I had this problem at work. They tend to hide a lot of stuff that if you're working with IT that you need, that is a little bit irritating to get out. You know, they are nesting stuff into shit that should not be nested into to just get to like a basic semi-advanced setting. And that can be a little bit irritating. The search function is a little bit iffy-diffy when you're searching in the control panel.
And I can appreciate this aspect of it. However, what I don't appreciate is them just completely hamstringing us users that have used Windows to fix things. Because this past a couple days back, I was just troubleshooting a printer issue, and I was like, oh, no worries. It's okay. We're just going to pull up printers. And usually what you do is, let's say you have your little run command. You can just type control, and then just pull up devices and printers. And this normally would pull up the old devices and printers, not this Fisher-Price version, or people that just don't know computers. That's fine. You know, hey, add device. That's what we have. More printers. They hide this screen, which drives me crazy. It's in here sometimes, but sometimes they hide it too.
Yeah, like I said, they do nest things in the place they should not nest them. But that's not destroying Linux, it's just making it less user-friendly for system administrators.
And you just can't ever get to it to change things, which kind of bothers me. And I would love it if they just left all this intact.
Yeah, but they are not doing that because people like him are bitching and moaning about that there are different ways of skinning a cat under Windows. Oh, you have 5 different ways of doing this settings thing. And Windows is trying to have one shop, one place to do one thing. I understand the frustration with the new control center. Maybe it's just because we're not used to using it yet.
Like, why did they have to mess this up? No one ever does this, and they even remapped some of the shortcut keys. So like when you go into your run box and you type control printers, we used to just type that in. Well, that used to pull up the printers page. I digress.
Again, it's for the sake of simplicity. But I would not say I don't like it. I'm just confused by the new scheme of things like he is. But that's just us that have to adapt. We are the minority. We have to adapt as IT people. We have to adapt to the new ways of doing things. Yeah, I do like the old one the best, but that's because I've used the old one. Like I said, like him, I've been using the old methods for over 20 years. So of course I like it because I know it. But yeah, Windows is making a lot of, from an administrator's viewpoint, a lot of weird fucking design choices. But that's not destroying Windows. It's not making Windows bad, it's just making it more confusing to use or to administrate. Not use, but to administrate, because it's actually making it a better system for the everyday user.
Yes. Let's just go and show you how to get to this, because once you get to here, you can just do an add printer. You say, hey, I want a printer that's not listed, and then you can just manually type everything in and select it either by IP if you have that, or add local printer. The other issue I was running into here as well was when I said I want a printer that's not listed, it was redirecting me to a website on the home edition of Windows 11. So Windows 11 Home is complete garbage in my opinion. You just, there's so...
Not really. I've been using Windows 10 Home and Windows 11 Home for 8 years. Let me see. 7 years. It has its limitation, and if you if you want to tinker and administrate Windows on a more, administrative level, yeah, it's definitely not for you. But I have had no problems with it. If you understand what the limitations of that version is, and who it's meant for. Windows Home is not meant for him. It's not meant for me, to be honest. It's meant for my mom, my brother, the janitor, the receptionist. So I feel this is a little bit... It's like saying that Windows Server is a shitty desktop... Not Windows Server. The Ubuntu Server is a shitty desktop operating system. Yeah, it's not meant to be a desktop operating system. It's not catered to be a desktop operating system. It's catered to be a server system. And then you have Ubuntu Desktop, with the normal Ubuntu version as a desktop.
So much stuff they strip out of it. And I even saw like a really good Linus Tech Tip video about some like Windows tips. And he said, hey, install Group Policy Editor just using GP Edit on Windows.
Yeah, but how many home users are going to do that? Maybe 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 100,000 maybe. So it makes sense. Home users are not going to use that. I would be doing it. I actually think I have it installed, to be honest. But I'm the only user of the fucking system anyway. You get what I'm saying here? He's putting his expectations, he's misplacing his expectations of what the systems are.
No, so if you just do gpedit.msc on Windows Home, this wouldn't be there, but you could do a little trick to install it. But the problem with that trick was that he showed was it didn't actually install the actual foundation for Group Policy Editor. So you would edit stuff in Group Policy and then it just would never get applied inevitably. So you need to expand it further to ungimp Windows Home. But if you have traditional Home, just the add printer box like this right here, the latest version I was troubleshooting someone's PC on, this was gone. Clicking this link right here just redirected me to a web page, and they removed these features. They're removing.
I don't think that's the... I did this at work, but I'm getting confused if it was running the Home or Professional edition, because it's a mess at work. There are Windows 10 machines and Windows 10 Professional machines. There's Windows 11 Home Edition, and there's Windows 11 Professional Editions running down there. So I could be confusing those, but yeah, it's a little bit of a mess.
A lot of the troubleshooting or advanced power users, and it's driving power users away from Windows. I'd even go as venture to...
I would not say it's driving them away, but it's definitely confusing power users. I will 1000% agree with that. But that's not destroying Windows, though. It's just making it less power user friendly.
Say here in about a year, if you're a power user on Windows, Microsoft will actively try and get you to use another operating system because they just hate.
They are actively trying to make you understand new systems. He don't like change, apparently.
At least that's how it feels to me. So let's say they do hide all this. One solace you can take from Microsoft is they never really remove anything. They just paper over it and then give you a new fresh coat of paint. So even if all this is, and they remove this more devices, printer, and settings, which eventually they will get rid of in some form or fashion, there is actually a direct solution to launch it through a shell command. Shell commands are great. I've used them in the past to run like Common Startup is a great way to troubleshoot startup items and things of that nature. But there's another way to get to devices and printers, and it's a good way to get in here and add or troubleshoot a printer. Just one way, but you can see some of this stuff is a bit half-baked because you are still using this newer file explorer, so you don't have a lot of the add, remove printer icons. So it's good, but they tried to do a little too much here, and it's just not completely baked.
All I'm getting from this video just is he don't like the new design language of Microsoft Windows. And I can honestly understand that. And I can empathize with that I don't like the design direction that they're going, or the UIX or UI language that they're going for. I can kind of understand that, and I'm 50-50 with him here. They are not doing this to get him and me and other people like us to not use Windows. That would be stupid. They are probably doing it because there is a demand for it, or people have asked for something like this, or research studies have shown that this will give the majority of people a better experience. And the sad reality in this world, I will not call it the sad reality, but the reality of this world is that you try to satisfy the majority of your users, or the majority of the people in any situation. It's better to make more people happy than to make less people happy and more people angry. His issue with Windows is a Windows administrative issue. And I get that. Again, like I said, I've been dealing with this at work. I understand him. But I also understand that what I am doing with Windows at work is something that the other, 16 other workers there are not doing with Windows. It's really specific for my one use case, that what I do, not what they do. And we have to have that viewpoint.
One, if you're a business, don't use Windows 11, of course. In the off chance you do, you're not going crazy. It's Microsoft not properly bug testing their product, where you can still pull up this old shell. So if there was a printer to troubleshoot.
Okay, the business that I work with, they've been using Windows for 5+ years, no fucking issue. I know people that have been companies that have been using Linux for 20 years with no fucking issue. This whole statement here, yeah, it's get your head out of your ass. You cannot make a statement like this. And if you are an IT consultant or anything like that, you should definitely not make a statement like this.
You can still come in here and open it up, but like the context menus and some other things, they're just changing and they're trying to do too much. And not leaving a lot of the ability to troubleshoot some of these printers. Like the right-click command's not even working for me here. It could be something I did.
Yeah, because I think they actually, I'm almost sure that I did that at work because I had a printer issue myself. And I could be mistaken, but I'm sure that the right-click menu was working.
But more often than not, it's just this new update. So...
I can't watch this anymore. The thing here is that Microsoft is not destroying Windows. Windows is changing. And that's what he don't like. He want Windows to cater to the minority, him, versus the majority, everyone else. That's never going to happen, boo-boo. Come and get a hug. That's never going to happen. I understand the frustration. Like I said, I had the same frustration at work. Not yesterday, 2 days ago, where I was like, where the fuck are you hitting this? Why the fuck are you doing it this way? But I understand why they're doing it. It's just making my work, my life, more inconvenient. But do you inconvenient me? Or do you inconvenient the 16 or 18 other people working in the same place I am? Do you inconvenient him? Or inconveniencing the thousands and millions of other people? That's the question that you have to answer yourself. So this is not Microsoft is destroying Windows. I hate his fucking titles. It's just that he don't like the new design language of Windows. And again, I can totally understand that. But to some extent, I think he's just hating for the sake of hating and not understanding why they're doing it. And he just wants his old Windows because that's what he knows. So that's why I see this a lot with IT professionals, especially people that have been working in IT in a long time, is that they don't like change because that means they now have to go back on the school bench and learn new stuff. And that also means that a lot of their old certifications and their old training is useless. They have this feeling that if I don't adapt, some younger and better and smarter and faster is going to take my job. And I feel a little bit here that he's a little bit afraid of losing his validated MCPs, Microsoft Certified Professional Diplomas, which he took like over a decade ago, so they are more or less useless today. But that's how IT work. What you do today is useless in 5 years. And you have to be able to adapt with the flow, or else you are useless in 4 or 5 years. And I feel he is like a lot of IT people that I don't want to change. I spent effort on this. This is what I know. Everyone should just stick with what I know. That's not how it works. I've seen developers a bitch and moan about them learning Fortran, and now they can't get a job because they don't want to learn a new programming languages. Well, then you are the problem, not them. I will say here that he is the problem. He's not adapting. Yes, we can yell and scream at it. Adapt and overcome. See you all later. Bye-bye.